Now that I have a little more experience with looper pedals, you know, I've got a bunch of them. I want to tell you about 4 different things that I feel are inadequate about the Boss RC-1. I might have covered some of these already in my best looper pedals video, which I'll link to somewhere in this video. But the one thing I really dislike about this pedal is just the lack of MIDI control. You know, I have the RC-5 as well, as you may know if you watch this channel. And initially I found it very difficult to use because it's so packed with so many different features. And I find that actually like controlling every part of it was a bit of a challenge on its own as its own stomp box. However, like once I was able to open it up through the use of a MIDI controller like the MIDI Captain STD from Paint Audio, once I was able to do that, I find that it really kind of brought the pedal to life. You know, it brought it to life and it made it just way more useful to me. And now I use it pretty much every single day. Whereas before I kind of pushed it off just because it didn't incentivize me to play. It felt kind of limiting and inhibiting, and it felt complicated and sophisticated. So for that reason, like I'm always going to have the RC-5 on my board over the RC-1 because it's just way easier to use. However, for some reason, I can't get the RC-5 to offload the overdub feature. And I've noticed some other people have pointed that out in the comments as well. And I'm not too sure what that is about. I'll probably have to email Boss and ask why that's the case. But that's something that I have noticed where like it'll offload every other parameter, but for some reason it just doesn't like to offload overdub, and I'm not too sure why. I actually kind of like it that way, and the reason why is because by offloading that parameter, I find that like you make it even simpler because you can control everything else, and then when you do want to do an overdub, then you hit the pedal. So essentially how I use it is I hit this button to begin playback, and then when I want to do the overdub, then I hit this. So for example, there, now I'm overdubbed. And then I can hit this to undo that as well. So there, now it's like just starts over again, which is pretty cool. Or you can hit it there again, like wherever you want. And it's really cool how you can do that, right? So there we go. The pedal on the RC-5 is only meant for overdub, so it kind of, you know, has a clear separation in terms of the functions of both units. The next reason why I think the RC-1 is not worth getting is because it doesn't have the ability to load backing tracks. Lately, I'm all about loading backing tracks on the Boss RC-5, especially with the advent of like artificial intelligence where you can actually separate drums from your most famous, or excuse me, your most liked songs. You can take the drums out and the bass out, load it into GarageBand or Logic or whatever you're using, FL Studio, and then import those files onto the RC-5 if you'd like, and then you can have like fully capable, fully functional backing tracks for you to jam along with. And I would add to that like it has so much memory, right? I believe there's 13 hours of space on it. So I mean, like 13 hours is a lot. That's a lot of space. You can put, I mean, how many albums is that? You know, there's 99 memories and 99 loops in 13 hours. So it's like you can just pack the RC-5 full of like so many different backing tracks and sounds. So I really love it for that. By the way, if you're looking for something to practice, get my fretboard memorization cheat sheet from travelingguitarist.com/fretboard cheat sheet. What it is it's all the triads, the major and minor triads in every single key. Through the octave mapping technique and through a couple other techniques, you can actually just learn to memorize not only the notes of the fretboard, but you can also learn how to improvise in a bunch of different keys by understanding the the foundation of harmony, which is the triads, right? The foundation of chords. You can also sign up to my forum at forum.travelingguitarist.com. There you can chat with people about guitar and music and whatever else you'd like. And that's another thing about the RC-1 that's a bit annoying, and that's that like you can only have one loop at a time on this pedal, just one at a time. It doesn't take, you can't put 13 hours of stuff on it. I can't remember how much this does hold. I think it is a 12-minute capacity, so you can have one loop that's 12 minutes, and that's cool. So ultimately this is good for a beginner, but like if you're willing to spend a bit more money on a looper pedal, it's just so much better. It's just so much more worth it in my opinion. But if you want something extremely straightforward, I think this is a good choice. While there are many flaws with the RC-1, I've noticed that some people say that you're not able to store the loop once you turn the device off. That's actually untrue. So for instance, so now if I unplug everything, so now it's got no power, it's turned off. And then once I plug it back in like so, watch. So yeah, I'm not too sure what that's about, but mine works perfectly for that. And someone else said in this comments that the pause feature doesn't work, and that's untrue too. So you just hit it twice. Another thing I don't like about the RC-1 is the fact that like if you want to do a silent delete, which is an important feature, particularly for a performance. I'm not really performing, but I can see how that would be very inconvenient. Like if you're going to use something like this and then you don't have silent delete, and you're in like a professional setting, I mean, I feel like that would be almost entirely worthless, because like it's just not gonna sound that great. But if you do want to use the silent delete, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to use the FS7, which is a foot switch, or I believe there's another one called the FS6U, and there might actually be another one after that too, but I have the FS7. And if you use the FS7, that is how you can silent delete things in the way that you'd like. And one more thing is just, as I said before, there's just no loops. There's no memories on this, so just one at a time. So you can't really use this as like a tool of creativity in the sense that like, if you do want to temporarily store jams on something, you're probably gonna have to use your phone, or you're gonna have to use some other device like that, because you can't save your loops on this for later use. And that's obviously a bit inconvenient. With that all said though, like it's still a decent looper if you want something that's relatively inexpensive, and it has like the bare bones minimum in terms of what you would expect from a looper. If that is what you're looking for, something very simple and very rudimentary in that sense, then this is a good choice. But for me, it's just not good enough. And at some point I'll probably even upgrade from the RC5 because there's many useful applications for a looper in that sense, particularly if you want to like create fully like layered songs with a looper pedal. That's something that you can't quite do with the RC5. But I believe with other more sophisticated units, you can even add in like chorus and verse, and you can have like multiple overdubs in different ways and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But for now, the RC5 is doing everything that I need. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of pedals that you like, or what kind of looper pedals that you like. And let me know what you prefer, what you like about the RC-1, maybe what you don't like about the RC-5. And some of you have good ideas regarding just pedals and a different setup. Like I've learned a lot from some of the comments that you guys leave. So even though some of you are kind of rude, but regardless, I appreciate learning stuff.